76.8 million. That's what Liverpool paid for a striker who just missed an open goal against Aston Villa. A finish that professional footballers make 99 times out of 100. Darwin Nunez isn't just any striker. He's perhaps the most puzzling player in the Premier League. Capable of brilliant movements followed by shocking misses that leave Arne Slot with his hands on his head. What exactly makes Darwin Nunez so frustrating to watch? The answer lies deep in the technical fundamentals of his game. When you break down the footage frame by frame, the issues become glaringly apparent in ways that casual viewing might miss. His body positioning reveals critical flaws at the moment of execution. Elite finishers maintain consistent posture, shoulders squared, head steady, weight properly distributed. Nunez's positioning regularly collapses when it matters most, his upper body leaning back excessively or tilting sideways, causing shots to sail over or wide. These inconsistencies in posture, combined with erratic foot placement, create a compounding effect where each finish attempt becomes a new adventure rather than a refined skill. These technical deficiencies become stark when compared to forwards commanding similar transfer fees. While Erling Haaland and Harry Kane maintain textbook striking form, shoulders level, head position directly over the ball, Nunez appears to use a different approach with each opportunity. Where top strikers demonstrate remarkable consistency through their shooting technique, Nunez's rushed approach creates an unstable foundation for each strike. In the words of Liverpool legend Robbie Fowler, one of the Premier League's most clinical finishers, people worry about Darwin Nunez. He doesn't think about the game enough. This assessment from one of Liverpool's greatest goal scorers highlights concerns about Nunez's decision making in critical moments. The shot selection data further illuminates his struggles. Top strikers favour high percentage opportunities from central positions within the penalty area. Nunez regularly opts for ambitious volleys and long-range efforts when simpler options exist. This pattern appears in his expected goals (XG) metrics, where Nunez consistently underperforms, missing chances that statistical models predict should be converted, creating a significant gap between his expected goals and actual conversion rate. Former Liverpool data analyst Ian Graham noted that Nunez was originally identified as one of the world's most promising young strikers based on metrics, yet the potential those numbers suggested hasn't materialized on the pitch, creating a disconnect between statistical profile and actual performance. Perhaps most concerning is Nunez's lack of what experts call an ice-cold filter in high-pressure situations. Despite impressive physical attributes, his speed, strength, and natural athleticism remain exceptional. Nunez often loses composure when it matters most. His challenges appear rooted in decision making and technique, areas that theoretically can improve with specialized coaching and repetition. Beyond technique and decision making lies perhaps the most critical factor in Nunez's inconsistency: his mental approach. When Liverpool's 76.8 million striker missed that golden opportunity against Aston Villa, manager Arne Slot wasn't just concerned about the miss itself. His post-match comments revealed a far deeper issue that might explain why Nunez continues to frustrate despite his obvious talents. There's one person in the dressing room that feels quite down, and you know who it is, I think? Slot remarked after the match. The Liverpool manager's concern centered on what happened after the miss. Nunez's work ethic visibly deteriorated, his head dropped along with his effort level, something Slot made clear he wouldn't tolerate. This behavior reveals a psychological pattern extending beyond isolated incidents. Like a house of cards collapsing from a single misplaced hand, Nunez's confidence crumbles after mistakes. When analysing footage of his performances, you can see how he begins matches with energy and purpose, but after a missed opportunity, his entire demeanour transforms. His shoulders slump, pressing becomes less intense, and movement off the ball diminishes significantly. What starts as frustration quickly cascades into a complete mental collapse, affecting every aspect of his game. Sports psychologists identify this as performance anxiety, creating a destructive cycle. The missed chance triggers self-doubt, generating anxiety about future opportunities. This manifests physically through tense movements and mentally through hesitant decision-making, both devastating for a striker whose success depends on instinctive reactions. The pattern intensifies throughout matches, with each subsequent opportunity becoming more psychologically challenging than the last. The weight of expectation grows heavier with each miss, creating an internal pressure cooker even as the game continues normally around him. Liverpool's players recognise this struggle. Teammates like Virgil van Dijk and Harvey Elliott have publicly offered support after difficult matches, understanding that Nunez's confidence requires constant reinforcement. The squad seems aware that nurturing their striker's mentality might be as crucial as developing his technical abilities. The psychological burden extends beyond individual games. The 76.8 million transfer fee, one of the highest in Liverpool's history, creates expectations few could consistently meet. For fans and media, each miss becomes another 76.8 million mistake, creating a uniquely challenging mental environment that would test even the most composed players. What separates elite strikers from merely talented ones isn't always technical brilliance, it's mental resilience. Players like Erling Haaland, Harry Kane, and Mohamed Salah possess immediate amnesia regarding missed chances. They can miss a simple opportunity and immediately attack the next phase with undiminished confidence, their body language revealing no trace of previous failure. This quality, perhaps the most valuable and least coachable attribute in elite forwards, is precisely what Nunez has yet to develop. While mental resilience might be Nunez's Achilles heel, his greatest strength defies conventional football wisdom, the ability to create brilliant moments precisely because of his unpredictability. That 60-yard run against Brentford last season wasn't an anomaly, it was a glimpse into the paradoxical nature of his talent. How can a player who struggles with simple finishes suddenly transform into an unstoppable creative force capable of producing moments that leave defenders bewildered and tacticians fascinated? The answer lies in a quality that Liverpool's analytical recruitment team likely identified but couldn't fully quantify. Nunez functions as a wildcard on the pitch, an unpredictable element in Liverpool's otherwise methodical chess game. Unlike Liverpool's traditional system built on precision and calculated movements, Nunez introduces an element of disorder that becomes devastating to organized defense structures. His physical profile enables this destructive capability. At 6'2", with remarkable acceleration and sustained sprint speed, combined with impressive strength, Nunez creates opportunities that simply wouldn't exist for most forwards. What makes Nunez truly unique is how he utilizes these physical gifts. As Barney Ronay astutely observed, Nunez operates at ground level and more expansively compared to other strikers. While traditional centre forwards occupy predictable central channels, Nunez's movements cover wider areas with unpredictable patterns. This spatial freedom allows him to approach defensive lines from angles that confuse marking schemes and create defensive uncertainty. This expansive movement pattern explains why that miracle scoop finish against Brentford emerged from his distinctive approach. By operating across larger areas with unpredictable movements, Nunez creates shooting angles and opportunities that conventional strikers wouldn't attempt or recognize. His impact as a substitute is particularly striking. His recent performance against Brentford demonstrated this perfectly. 2 late goals transformed the match. When introduced against tiring defenses, his energy becomes especially problematic for opponents settled into predictable patterns. The dilemma for Liverpool's coaching staff pits traditional football intelligence against disruptive value. Should they mould Nunez into a more conventional striker with consistent finishing and disciplined positioning, potentially diminishing the very quality that makes him special? Analytics fail to capture Nunez's full value. The disruption he causes to defensive structures creates spaces and opportunities for his teammates as well. When he's on the pitch, defenders cannot rely on positional formulas or standard marking schemes. Liverpool's methodical attacking system finds in Nunez an agent of creative destruction. When precision-based attacks reach an impasse against defensively disciplined opponents, Nunez's energy provides the circuit breaker needed. The concept of a disruptive force in football typically applies to creative midfielders or wingers. Nunez fascinates because he brings this quality to the centre forward position, traditionally defined by clinical efficiency rather than creative unpredictability. His game represents a different interpretation of striker play, where disruption and spatial creation complement finishing ability. So what's Liverpool to do with their enigmatic Uruguayan? Jamie Carragher's insight that Liverpool will likely target a new centre forward this summer, regardless of Premier League success, highlights a critical crossroads for the club's recruitment strategy. While the elite striker market will be fiercely competitive, Liverpool could alternatively invest in developing Nunez. Specialised finishing drills focusing on composure rather than technique, combined with mental resilience training, could unlock his potential, following the precedent of forwards who've overcome similar issues. The Darwin Nunez story, like a winding road with unexpected turns, represents football's most compelling narrative, the messy, unpredictable human journey of transformation, with all its frustrations and fleeting moments of brilliance that transcend simple metrics and statistics.